Alright, Wrexham supporter. Welcome to your Red Dragons news channel. Look, today I've brought 3 absolutely crucial stories that you need to know before the weekend. And I guarantee one thing, the third story is going to make your blood boil. A rival manager has just come out with statements that are leaving Wrexham supporters absolutely livid. But hold on, because before we get to that bombshell, I need to update you on 2 other really important situations that happened this week. First story, what Phil Parkinson said about the Welsh derby against Cardiff that's already happened, and the serious injury that's going to leave Wrexham even more short-handed. Second story, Cardiff players' reaction after knocking Wrexham out of the League Cup at the racecourse ground itself, and what they said about the supporters. And the third, the main story that's in the thumbnail and title, is about a manager who practically challenged Wrexham, saying he's not scared at all to play at the racecourse ground. So stick with me until the end because you can't miss this last story. Let's go! Story 1. Starting with the first story, Phil Parkinson and the preparation for what would be the Welsh derby against Cardiff City in the League Cup. This match took place on Tuesday night at the racecourse ground, and it was the first time in 21 years that Wrexham and Cardiff had faced each other. 21 years. Think about it, an entire generation grew up without seeing this fixture. Before the match, Parkinson gave an interview and made it clear he didn't need to explain much to the players about the importance of this match. And do you know why? Because in recent weeks, everywhere he went in town, supporters only talked about this game. The players themselves were also hearing about it all the time. The rivalry between Wrexham and Cardiff is in Welsh people's blood, and everyone knew the magnitude of this clash. Parkinson said that when the draw came out, it was exciting for everyone. It wasn't just a Welsh derby, it was a chance to reach the League Cup quarter-finals for only the 3rd time in the club's history. Imagine the scale of that. 3rd time in all of history. He even had a conversation with the players about Wrexham's history in this competition and about the rivalry with Cardiff, but admitted he didn't need to say much because the atmosphere was already there. And what an interesting moment for this match to happen. Wrexham were coming off a better phase, having earned 4 points from the last 6 available in the Championship. Cardiff, meanwhile, who are in League One, a division below, had lost 3 of their last 6 league matches. So, on paper, it seemed Wrexham had the advantage. Parkinson analysed Cardiff well before the match. He said they're a good side, because any team that's at the top of their league has talent. But he also identified that Cardiff were quite open tactically, especially in transitions. They gave chances to the opposition, but also managed to score goals. Therefore, Parkinson thought it would be a really lively and entertaining match to watch. When asked if Wrexham were favourites, Parkinson was clever in his response. He said yes, technically they were favourites for playing at home and being a division higher, and that probably the bookmakers had them as slight favourites. But he made it clear he wasn't worried about that. His focus was only on the team's performance level and on choosing the team and substitutes bench that could give supporters the bragging rights in this Welsh derby. But then comes the bad part, and this is news that really complicates life for Wrexham. Lewis Brunt, the centre-back who has been important this season, suffered a thigh injury during the 1-1 draw with Middlesbrough on the Saturday before the Cardiff match. And it wasn't just any injury. Parkinson revealed it's a long-term injury. He explained that Brunt had an MRI scan and would be consulting a specialist. The hope was that he wouldn't need surgery, but the recovery time would be long anyway. They'd only know the exact time frame after the consultation with the specialist. And this left Wrexham with problems in several areas of the team, because they were already a bit short-handed. Parkinson also mentioned that Ollie Rathbone and Ben Sheaf would need to be assessed before the match. And he made it clear he'd have to protect some players who had been carrying minor injuries in the last 2 championship matches. It was a delicate squad management situation, having to balance the League Cup with the heavy championship fixture list. So imagine the pressure, a historic derby after 21 years, chance to reach the quarter-finals, but with a depleted squad and having to think about the league as well. Parkinson was in a tight spot, having to make difficult choices about who to select and who to rest. And as we already know now, the choices he made ended up not working out, because Wrexham lost the match. But losing Brunt for a long period is something that's going to affect the team well beyond this League Cup tie. Story 2. Now let's move to the second story, and this one stings a bit because it's about what happened after Cardiff knocked out Wrexham. The match finished 2-1 to Cardiff, with goals from Youssef Salek and Will Fish for the visitors, and Kiefer Moore scoring for Wrexham. It was a bitter home defeat at the racecourse ground, and now Cardiff will face none other than Premier League Chelsea in the quarter-finals. After the match, Rubin Colwill, Cardiff's 24-year-old midfielder who was named man of the match, gave an interview that really shows how much this victory meant to them. And look, He didn't miss the chance to highlight the role of Cardiff support, who turned up in force. Of the 10,563 supporters present at the stadium, 1,249 were from Cardiff. They made a 137-mile journey, over 220 kilometres, from South Wales to Wrexham in the north. And according to Colwill, they made the difference. He said, "Fair play to them, they were having a good battle with the Wrexham fans, they were going strong all match, so it was special for us to give them that experience." And he didn't stop there. Colwill mentioned that Cardiff have had a lot of away matches recently, so having the supporters travelling up and down the country backing the team has been fantastic. You can sense from his words how much those supporters mean to the players, especially in such an important victory against a rival. Colwill also spoke about the challenge of playing at the racecourse ground at that moment. He said everyone knew there were lots of supporters and lots of energy around Wrexham at the moment, so it would have been really difficult if they'd let the home side get momentum in the match. And he was right, because when Wrexham equalised through Moore's goal, the whole stadium erupted. Colwill admitted that at that moment they knew they'd have a really difficult 40 minutes ahead. But Cardiff managed to control it. After the equaliser, they kept the ball, maintained possession, and controlled the match until Fish scored the winning goal. Colwill said it was a really tough match, but that they played really well, especially in the first half. They had lots of energy and were prepared for Wrexham's style of play, which is very much in your face, pressing all the time. In fact, Colwill admitted they didn't expect to start as strongly as they did. Cardiff dominated the opening of the match, and that was crucial to the victory. And at the end, when asked about his ambitions in the competition, he was direct, "I just want us to go as far as possible." And look, you can understand his happiness. Cardiff, who are in League One, knocked out Championship Wrexham at the racecourse ground itself, and will now face Chelsea in the quarter-finals. It's the sort of story that players keep in their memory forever. But from a Wrexham supporter's point of view, this Colwill interview is hard to digest. Hearing the opposition player talking about how their supporters made the difference, how they controlled the match after the equaliser, how they were prepared for Wrexham's style, all of that reinforces just how frustrating that defeat was. It was a match Wrexham should have won playing at home, a division higher, but in the end it was the rivals who celebrated. Story 3. And now we come to the main story, the one in the thumbnail and title, and this one is leaving Wrexham supporters absolutely furious. Wrexham's next championship opponents, who face the team this Friday night, have a manager who gave an extremely confident, almost arrogant interview about the clash. And his statements landed like a bomb. This manager is experiencing a spectacular moment, unbeaten for several matches and potentially achieving his 7th consecutive victory precisely against Wrexham. And when he was interviewed about the match, he made it very clear he doesn't intend to change absolutely anything to face Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney's side. Look at what he said, "We're relaxed, it's a normal working week. We've recovered well from the last match and we've already prepared everything for Wrexham as we do with any other opponent." A normal working week. As if playing against Wrexham at the racecourse ground were just another match in the calendar. This statement deeply irritated Red Dragon supporters because the manager seemed to completely minimise the emotional factor and the strength that the racecourse ground represents. He emphasised that the team is focused on maintaining momentum and that, despite respecting Wrexham's project, his squad's mentality is simply to keep winning. And he continued, "Wrexham have an incredible story, of course, and we all follow it in some way. But our focus is just one thing, maintain the winning streak and stay unbeaten. Every match is dangerous, but we analyse everything and know how to neutralise their strengths." Notice the confidence in his words. He not only said they've analysed Wrexham, but that they know exactly how to neutralise the team's strengths. It's practically saying they've already worked out the formula for how to win at the racecourse ground. During the interview, the manager also praised all his team's behind-the-scenes work, mentioning nutrition, physical performance and data control as fundamental weapons for maintaining rhythm and focus. He made it clear his team is a well-oiled machine, scientifically prepared for every detail. When asked about the possibility of breaking a historic record for consecutive victories, his response was even bolder, "I don't worry about records. I just want to keep winning. When we lose, but until then, we keep winning." But the point that really made Wrexham supporters blood boil was when he spoke about the so-called Hollywood effect. This is the term many people use to refer to the impact of having Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney as owners, the Netflix series, all the global visibility the club has gained. And look at what the manager said, "It's a fantastic story, yes. A club with passionate owners, who've invested and are trying to compete in the championship. But for us, it's just another match. We'll go there to win. Just another match." After everything Wrexham have built, after 3 consecutive promotions, after all the investment and all the passion, hearing a rival manager say it's just another match sounds like a direct challenge, like a lack of respect. The manager even recalled a funny story from the past. He said he'd already faced Wrexham many years ago when he was still a player, and that he even gave away a penalty that day. He said with a laugh, "Seeing where the club is now is something fantastic. But Friday, we want to win." So basically he acknowledges Wrexham's incredible journey, congratulates them on the project, but makes it very clear that on Friday none of that matters, because his team's objective is to leave there with 3 points. His whole demeanour, this mixture of superficial respect with absolute confidence, generated an immediate reaction on social media. Wrexham supporters are saying the team needs to give a response on the pitch, needs to show that the Hollywood effect isn't just marketing and documentary, but also real football, real results, important victories. And look at the moment this is happening. Wrexham have just been knocked out of the League Cup by Cardiff at home, have a depleted squad because of Brunt's injury, and now receive an opponent on a roll, unbeaten, with a manager who's practically saying he's not scared at all of the racecourse ground. It's the sort of situation that can go 2 completely different ways. Either Wrexham use these statements as fuel, play with anger, with determination, and show this manager that underestimating the power of the racecourse ground is a massive mistake. Or, if things don't go well, this rival manager's words will echo in a really painful way. The message has been sent. Whilst the opposition treat the clash as just another match in their unbeaten run, Welsh supporters see this fixture as a point of honour. It's about pride. It's about showing that Wrexham aren't a team you can look down on, no matter how many consecutive wins you've got. So that's it, everyone. Friday night the racecourse ground is going to be on fire. The supporters will make that deafening noise that only Welsh terraces know how to make. And Wrexham will have the chance to show that too much confidence can turn out really, really costly. If you enjoyed these 3 stories and want to stay on top of everything happening with Wrexham, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. And tell me in the comments, do you think Wrexham will shut this confident manager up? Or will the opposition's unbeaten run continue? Let's debate. Until next time.